The first thing is we're getting better at healing and dealing with the disease. And the second part is the next stage is helping to prevent the disease. And that's happening too. There are many ways we get sick. There's infectious diseases, which have all gone dramatically down. There are things like cancers and autoimmune diseases. Our cure rate for our improvement in cancer is dramatic already. There's a few cancers like pancreatic cancer which have very high birth rates. But now how many women die of breast cancer anymore? The number is quite small compared with even 10 years ago. And since we developed the human genome and we understand all the genes of the planet, of the human being, we're starting to come to major grips with a lot of forms of disease. A lot of these will be cured and many of them will be prevented altogether. And it will take another 30 or 40 years. It's real and it's getting worse. The level of gases, carbon-based gases, is 393 parts per million CO2 equivalents. When it gets to 450, we're in deep trouble. The temperature will get too high. And we'll have bigger droughts, more extreme weather events, worse flood. The simple fact is we notice the cyclones that we're getting now are worse and more frequent. The droughts we are getting worse and more frequent. Now we've actually put a price on carbon at $24 a tonne, which means now that if I can get a tonne of carbon dioxide equivalents out of the sky, I get $23. My prediction of the next big shift will be we can actually mine the sky. It's going to be. I actually wrote a scenario that by 2040 we'll have another crisis. There's not enough carbon in the sky. We've been so good at taking it out that we have to start putting some of it back. So the next convention will be, what's the right level? Can we get to make sure the level in the bar stays right? We use water once and throw it away. So, what in terms of water, we have to have a massive improvement in water conservation and water restoration. So, being able to restore water economically. Energy has to be driven by renewable approaches, or at least approaches which are not dangerous to the atmosphere. We can use as much energy we like as it's coming off the sun, because the proportion of energy we're actually using and releasing every day, including from fossil fuel, is 1/10,000th of the amount which is coming from the sun. But that energy manifests itself in many different ways. For example, ocean currents, which keep the whole world warm and cool, are solar driven. I did some sums. There's enough energy in those waters to light the whole of Melbourne and the whole of Victoria out of what we can call marine hydro, not falling water hydro, but moving water. So we start adding all those things up, and wind and all these things are possible, but the important thing is about all of these energy solutions is that we must have no collateral damage. And I keep on telling the oil industry, you have 20 years to fix this other problem, otherwise you'll become a smoker on the planet and you'll be treated the same way as a smoker in a cafe today. Now, there's still poor people around, but as well as that, globalisation is lifting a lot of poor people out of poverty. The simple fact in China today, unlike centuries in the past, no one really starves anymore. Now, we're not producing sometimes sustainably, we're doing damage to the planet in the short term, which is what's called the Green Revolution. But the new one is what I call the Evergreen Revolution, which means it's producing food, lots of food sustainably. Two years ago, the population of the cities of the world for the first time in human history became greater than the population of the rural areas, just 2 years ago. And now people are predicting big cities of 30 million and 50 million. Now, those will be pretty high density. They will have superb public transport, because there'll be lots of corridors. The places of living will be close to the centres of public transport, which is already happening. Increased density will improve the quality of and effectiveness of public transport, also the effectiveness of the communication systems. And so what that means is business will have businesses, but they don't necessarily be in one place. They'll be dispersed, they'll be interactive, there'll be a lot of people working part-time in jobs, often from home, and a huge amount of outbreak of flexibility. But it's possible to do all those things because of the infrastructure will be supporting good decision making, effective strategic development, and good product design. Then we have to go to manufacturing and businesses like that. Well, that's going to be automated more and more. It's cleaner more and more. It involves 100% recycling of products. By 2050, we'll have done most of those things.